Yo, I seen a little bit of this video, but I really got off of it when I saw it. I really got off of it. So we can do the reaction video. It was one day ago the other day, but now it was 2 days ago. This is June 31st. You always say it's the 3rd already. So you always say like 3 days ago. Really, YouTube? Okay, phone 86%. Y'all, it's 4:42 in the morning, Tuesday. Let's see.
KBG family, what's good with y'all, gang?
What's up with y'all?
Hey, y'all snowed in?
Yeah,
No, we ain't snowed in like y'all. We ain't
getting
because we.
Yeah.
We getting there.
Y'all, I think we
Boy,
snowed in. We ain't snowed in.
already.
That's not a conversation.
Just getting our way, man. Getting a little cozy and a little spooky, scary time, you know.
Right. This is the perfect time for a little scary, spooky time. So
Y'all see what we got, man. We got Mr. Nightmare. We got 3 genuinely scary, true horror stories. They're true.
so get y'all covers, your blankets, or
So
whatever.
snacks, I got a couple of Girl Scout cookies I've been choking on.
And some milk. He was drinking some milk
almond
too.
milk. Y'all already know what time it is, man. Kick back and get it.
She got nothing. She don't want anything.
I'm about to say.
I can't stand on Ouija board. I'm telling you that right now. I would burn that
My
thing.
dream was always to get my own place ever since I was in high school.
Okay.
I really couldn't wait to move out because I hated my dad growing up, and my mom wasn't much better.
Jeez.
We would always buck heads. So
That's
my dad
normal,
would
though,
always be drunk on the weekends. And honestly, it was just a mess.
Oh God.
As I got older, and girls obviously became a factor, it became even more of a problem because there was no way I'd bring any girls back to that household.
Right.
So because of all of this, I took the first chance I could get and moved out when I was 19 in college.
I was 18. Right.
I didn't go away to school. I went to a commuter college not far from home. My parents wouldn't pay for me to go away to school. So I was on Zillow, Facebook, and Craigslist every day for a while. And when I finally found a rental that looked promising and affordable, I went to see it right away. The layout is pretty important, so I'll describe it now. As I walked in, I was welcomed with a living room / dining room area, which was one open space. Then there was the kitchen adjacent to that, which was separated by a wall. Then, to get to the single bedroom in the apartment, you went down the hallway, which also had 2 closets. One which I used as a pantry, and one as a storage closet. And then the door to the bathroom. At the end of the hall was the
You got a
bedroom.
short hallway. I'm not doing
The
that.
bedroom was generously sized. It fit a queen-sized bed easily. It had 2 more closets, and I fit a couple of dressers and a TV in there easily.
Okay.
I was sold immediately, especially because it was budget-friendly. I moved in the next month, and life was fine.
Okay. Well,
Fast forward a few months, maybe.
but watch you be scared and go back to your parents' house because you realize actually don't go back to your ghetto parents' house. Better off without them. My phone 85%. Oh well, we can get through it. By the time you get done like 5 something in the morning, it'll probably be like my phone probably looking like 72 or something percent. I got always charge it back up. I got there. I recorded. Was it Sunday? Yeah, I recorded Sunday. I haven't posted it yet. It's a video. I haven't posted it yet. Could have posted it yesterday, but I didn't know anything about that video yesterday or a few hours back.
I went out with friends in town, and we ran into some girls we knew.
Okay.
I ended up taking this girl home that I'd known for a while through school, but we
Oh
never
wow,
hung
you're
out
very
that way.
smart.
I'll just call her Sammy. We ended up drinking at my place and watching a movie, but that was really all we did. She didn't want to take it further than that on our first time hanging out, and I respected that. We ended up in the bedroom finishing the movie that we started in the living room, and I think we both just passed out from being drunk somewhere through the movie. The next thing that happened was I woke up to footsteps outside in the hallway. It was still the middle of the night. I looked to my side, and I was alone in the bed. I jumped out of bed, looking down the hallway, and I saw Sammy in the living room grabbing her stuff off the couch. But she was doing so quietly. She was trying to leave now to avoid the awkwardness in the morning, and I understood that. So I didn't say anything and went back to bed quietly.
Okay, go to bed. Bye.
I heard her eventually walk out the front door. For good measure, I called out, "Sammy?" to no response, and that confirmed she was gone. I got comfortable in bed relatively quickly and drifted back off to sleep.
So you had one night
It was
stand.
probably another hour that passed when I woke to something loud. I immediately shot up in my bed, and my heart started pounding relatively quickly. I called out, "Sammy?" again. There was
Sammy
no
gone.
response. I was honestly kind of scared to get up and check. So I picked up my phone and texted Sammy's number, asking if she was still in my house. I realized that was a little weird to do, but I was actually scared in that moment. fridge was still open because I was too lazy to get up and shut it after Sammy left. I was definitely still a little drunk from the shots we were taking in the
She's
living room,
drunk.
but I felt like I saw something wrapped around
Oh my gosh, so you was drunk. So you still a little drunk. Well, you can't fight Dan with the crap, can you?
the door frame. My breathing only intensified. I still can't believe I had the balls to do this, but I swiped down on my iPhone to reveal the control panel thing, and I pressed the flashlight button.
Let me see.
And with the phone still pointed at the door frame, I realized there were two hands wrapped around the door frame.
Oh.
But as if responding immediately to being revealed, whoever's hands they were tightened and then pulled back out of sight. And the scream I was holding in for those 3 seconds finally came out, mixed with simply screams of dread. I also screamed, get out, over and over. By the time I finally got up, I looked down the hallway, and it looked empty. I flipped on the light immediately. After a few minutes of calming my breathing and just trying to listen for sounds, I built up the courage to check the hallway closets and bathroom, and they were clear. I then moved to the main living area, and trust me, there weren't any places to hide in there. I held my phone as if it were a gun as I crept to the nearest light switch and turned it on. I felt instantly better.
You should have had your gun in there. You could shoot somebody's hand off.
Kitchen. I crept to the opening that led to the kitchen and flicked that light on as well, finally lighting up the entire apartment. There was no one here. I looked behind the couch, I looked under the tables, I even checked the floor-level kitchen cabinets. When I realized it was clear, I ran to the front door to lock it. The weird thing, though, was that I never heard the front door close, and yet there was not a single soul except for me in there.
Yeah.
I now tried calling Sammy repeatedly until she picked up. When she did, she sounded tired and confused. I asked her if she was just in my house, and she told me she left a while ago because she couldn't sleep. I didn't explain. I just told her my bad. I thought I heard a noise, and then we hung up. I decided to spam call my best friend until he picked up, also sounding tired and confused. I explained everything that just went down, and he said he could tell I was still drunk. His explanation calmed me down, though. He said I was sleep-deprived and still drunk, and I had a mid-wake-up hallucination. It made a little sense, actually, considering I never heard the front door shut.
I
I
mean,
eventually could laugh it off and apologized for waking him up. I went back to my room, shut and locked the door, and I actually calmed myself down enough to fall asleep.
Okay.
The next morning, I did another search around the apartment, and it was without a doubt clear. So I went on with my day. But at some point, I thought back to that supposed hallucination I had of those hands wrapped around the doorframe the night before.
It could have been real.
I walked to my room and examined the doorframe, and I think my heart stopped for a moment.
See
I
handprints,
saw
huh?
obvious fingerprints left in the exact positions the hands I saw in the doorframe had been. I felt dizzy, coming to the realization that it wasn't a hallucination.
Yeah.
At all.
I took this picture
the
of
actual-
it, which I still have in my iCloud years later.
Can't see
I
it.
resorted to calling my dad for advice, and he more or less called me a buffoon for not locking the door. But as long as nothing was stolen and no one was there,
That's why I had it worded so
Yeah.
A lot of dads would call their kids that for a buffoon. They're too grown not to know when to lock the door. That's how a lot of dads, their brain mindset is like, or that's what they would say like, well, yeah, you're a dummy for not locking the door. Love you, kiddo, but you're a dummy. Like, you just very honest and up there with it. Ask, are you okay? How drunk were you? Did you get hurt? Anything was stolen? Like, okay. What? It's normal for people not like their dads and moms. It's normal. It's an average thing. It's a really popular thing. LOL.
Real.
I had that word in forever.
You buffoon forever?
Now for real.
Oh boy.
Gotta lock that door because somebody could have easily sneaked
Yeah,
in
that's
there.
crazy. You always say you
Could've
got
put
it.
you right in
locked
your
the door.
sleep.
Can't get too comfortable.
Right.
nonetheless called me a buffoon for not locking the door. But as long as nothing was stolen and no one was there anymore, take it as a valuable learning lesson.
Your dad was quite
Honestly,
buffoon.
nothing my dad said on that phone call was untrue. That's what sucks. I don't know who the hell came into my apartment that night, and I don't know why they chose to do the literal creepiest thing they could have possibly done. But after my year-long lease was up, I moved on and upgraded apartments and never looked back.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't believe you.
Next time I bring you a shotgun. If you're gonna move into an apartment, next time I bring you a shotgun, a pistol. You can shoot a little weirdo. You need to. Hang on, yo. Half fast forward back, yo.
And never looked back.
Yeah, I wouldn't back to that ugly place anyway.
I don't believe you.
Blame him on that one. That's crazy.
My parents' house never really felt like a parent's house. Not in the normal way, at least. My dad traveled for work constantly, and my mom was always out with friends or staying over my aunt's house, or doing something else where she'd come home late or not at all. I know that sounds kind of messed up, but it was just the reality. It wasn't like they abandoned me or anything. It was more like they were always busy and always somewhere else. So from the time I was like 16 and up, I basically lived alone. I ate dinner alone most nights, I watched TV alone.
Jeez.
I'd be the only person in the house for an entire weekend sometimes.
Oh my gosh.
I'm an only child, and I think that's because my parents realized after having me how much they valued their own freedom.
Oh
So in
my
that regard,
gosh.
I did suffer, which is something I feel more now as an adult. When I was younger, I used to love it because it felt like freedom having such a big place to myself. I could do whatever I wanted without my parents
Yeah, but it
breathing
doesn't
down
get
my
lonely
neck,
eventually.
and I didn't have to share it with siblings. I could bring friends over and play games late. I could talk.
Yeah, but at some point you wish you had something there with your kissing going on. You have some backup or something. Or like, you just like, okay, it's time for a sibling now. Or like, it's not like your parents never became parents in the first place. They was too busy to have a child. They should became parents in the first place. Y'all kind of like, am I right? Yeah, how y'all feel? Kind of like, if y'all agree with me, I know I'm right, actually. It sounds like to me they too busy to be parents in the first place. They should became parents if they was have such a busy lifestyle. Yeah. They was happy with that. Okay, well, we can talk to girls on the phone, how late nights, you could whatever.
To girls on the phone without being embarrassed.
By your
I felt
mom
like
or
having
dad.
my own home without
Both.
paying for it.
He said both.
And even when I turned 19 and started going to a nearby college, nothing changed.
Jeez.
If anything, it got even more like that. My mom and dad were gone or out more, and I was basically just holding it down at home. I knew every noise that house made too. That part matters because it wasn't one of those houses where every creak freaked you out. It was an older but larger house, and it had its usual sounds. I always just said the damn place had character. So this happened on a night where I knew for a fact I was going to be alone. My dad was out of town for work, and my mom had been talking all week about how she was
I'm back, y'all.
at my aunt's because they were having some big family thing the next day. She did a night where I knew for a fact I was going to be alone. My dad was out of town for work.
Okay.
My mom had been talking all week about how she was staying at my aunt's because they were having some big family thing the next day, and she didn't want to drive back late.
So not do
That's a lie.
Her telling me
family thing. Not invite the child. Like
Yeah, thank you.
Cool.
Invite the child. Thank you, Cash.
Especially
Thank
'cause
you.
always
Right.
in the house by yourself.
hello.
Always.
Big family thing the next day, and she didn't want to
Oh
drive
my
back late.
gosh.
I remember her
Her
telling
mom too
me
lazy
it's
and dad
just
worked
you
too
tonight,
much.
and I honestly didn't even care. That was normal.
Jeez.
I told her that she didn't even
He
have
just say 16 and up, so over time he got used to it.
to tell me that. I made food, I watched TV, I did
I'll
the
be
usual.
lonely eventually doing all that by
At
myself.
around 11, I went upstairs to my room and started watching YouTube videos in bed. Something I do some nights for hours. My room was at the end of the hallway upstairs. At the top of the stairs, you'd have a small landing, and then to the right was my parents' room. And further down the hallway was the bathroom, the linen closet, and then my room at the end. I had my door open because my parents told me to keep doors open at night. More as a staying alert and listening for intruders type of thing. But I also liked hearing the house a little, like background noise. It made the whole being alone thing feel less intense. I eventually started getting tired, so I shut my laptop and just laid
You
there
need
scrolling
siblings,
on
bro,
my
because you're too
phone.
lonely. That's what it is. You don't
So
want
I'm
to admit
gonna
it, but
just
you're
say
lonely.
that
You need a
probably
sibling.
an hour passed from the moment I shut my laptop to when my phone rang. It said no caller ID on the screen. That was the first time I'd ever received a no caller ID phone call. I stared at it for a second. To be receiving that late at night was sketchy as hell.
Okay.
I ignored it, but it rang again right after, still saying no caller ID. That's what made me answer. I figured if it was someone important, they would call twice. Plus, it's just a phone call. Worst case scenario, I hang up. So I picked up, and at first, there was no noise. I got nervous that it was one of those scam calls that calls to see if a number is active to add it to some call center database.
Oh boy.
But then I started hearing something faint, and it took my brain a second to process what it even was.
What?
It It sounded like a TV playing in the background.
Oh my God.
And what was weird was that I could also faintly hear my own TV downstairs through the door.
So don't play your
Because
TV downstairs.
I guess I left it on in the living room.
No, you turn it
I
off.
didn't have it on loud, just on low volume as background noise. So hearing TV audio on the phone instantly made my stomach tighten.
Oh my gosh.
I said hello a second time, to once again no response. Just the TV sound. Like whoever was on the other end wasn't even trying to speak. It was just there. Then I realized something that made me sit up in bed instantly. The TV noise I was hearing through the phone wasn't random.
It was your TV.
It matched my TV downstairs, like perfectly.
Oh,
It wasn't delayed.
heck no.
It was the exact same audio at the exact same moments. Like it was synced. That's when I got this cold feeling down my spine, because there's only one way that makes sense. That would mean whoever was on the phone could hear my TV in real time.
Yes.
As in, they were inside my house.
How did you get your number?
Downstairs, right.
I tried to force a normal explanation, like it was a friend standing outside one of my windows downstairs trying to trick me. Or maybe the call was somehow glitching and picking up on my microphone audio. That can happen.
You can,
The
but
more I listened, the more I realized that didn't
You're
make
19.
sense.
You get you a gun
It
license
sounded like
yet?
someone was calling me
But
while
go tell
standing
that Howard.
somewhere
Why'd
in
you
my
say that?
living room.
He need to shoot somebody. You need to
I
shoot
got up
somebody.
and walked to my
Somebody in
bedroom
your house
door
and
listened.
shoot him.
And oh yeah, I was 1,000,000% sure now that the audio on the phone was syncing to the TV. In hindsight, this was dumb, but I screamed out, "Who's down there?" Because in the back of my mind, I thought for sure I knew it was a friend or family member pulling something. And then the line went dead. They hung up.
Oh,
By this
no.
point, my mouth went completely dry.
Mine dry.
I couldn't even call the number back because it was an anonymous call. I walked out into the hallway towards the stairs, and I looked down. I still heard the TV on in the living room.
Okay, I'm not trying to
And
get
then
scared.
a creak. It sounded like the wood floor cracking from the pressure of a person.
I don't think it's
But if
scared.
that didn't confirm things, the moment I heard someone clearing their throat downstairs,
oh,
that's when everything
You
instantly.
need to be calling 911. The minute I heard something downstairs, I would have been 911.
I would call that at one
No.
too.
The moment I heard someone clearing their throat downstairs, that's when everything instantly
Okay,
became 10
I would
times
get
more
shot
real.
down so quickly.
I could no longer lean on the glitching phone theory, even though deep down I already knew that was BS anyway.
Yes.
I went to my room
I thought
and
it-
quietly closed and locked the door.
They already knew you there?
What if my dad was testing me, seeing how I'd react in a home intrusion situation? Or maybe my Uncle T. So I called my dad, but he didn't pick up. He may have already been asleep. It was like 11:30. So I called again and again, but no luck.
Pick up your
I
phone,
tried my luck
stupid,
with
you
Uncle
son of
T,
Daniel,
and he
stupid
picked up on the
mortal.
second ring. I could tell he was in bed. He asked why I
Yep.
was calling, and I prefaced the phone call telling him this might sound crazy, and then dropped the bomb and asked if he was downstairs. I remember vividly his exact response and tone as he said, "Steve, what the hell are you talking about?" When I elaborated, he told me that's definitely something his brother would do. His brother, aka my dad. While we were on the phone, my phone started vibrating. I looked at the screen, and it was the no caller ID on the screen again. I begged my Uncle T to stay on the line real quick. I was putting him on hold as I picked up. He said okay, so I picked up the other call. As I said hello, there was the same silence. This time, I didn't hear the TV sounds on the other end. What did that mean?
That means you call
I had the
911.
phone on speaker because I could hear their footsteps.
Ben do that.
They were moving, and the footsteps were matching the footsteps I suddenly started hearing outside of my bedroom.
Oh my
I prayed with all my
god.
heart this was my dad messing with me. Then my doorknob jiggled, and whoever was on the
Nope.
other side tried
Get
pushing
it
the
going.
door.
Start stabbing.
Thank God it was an old heavy door with an old heavy lock. The sound still synced with what I was hearing on the phone. Whoever was on the other side of the door knocked. I had the sudden thought to merge the two calls. And when I did, I yelled into the phone for my Uncle T, saying, "It's not my dad, get here now." I also yelled that whoever was in the house was also on the phone with us. My uncle seemed to wake up from this, and he started yelling into the phone things like, "I'm coming, you cocksucker." The no-caller ID caller hung up the phone, and I heard footsteps move away from the door. This all but confirmed it was in fact not my dad.
Okay.
My uncle told me to stay in the bedroom. He was on his way. I wasn't a little kid, but I wasn't some big brolic man either. I was some skinny 19-year-old. My uncle knew
You
I was in
probably
danger.
had hands,
He
stupid.
started
Well,
heading
you
over
stay
to the
safe.
house. We lived in the same town at the time, but that 7 minutes he took to get to the house was the longest 5 years
I
I'd ever
bet it
experienced.
was. Oh my gosh.
I heard the familiar voice of my uncle screaming downstairs finally, so I rushed out of the room and downstairs. Having him there made everything feel better. We called the cops together while searching around the house for stolen items. The TV in the living room was still on. Before the cops got to the house, we found the kitchen window to be fully open, open enough for someone to crawl through. That info was of course relayed to the police, who, when they got there, did what I imagined to be a standard police search of the premises, asking us to lead them around the house, but from behind them. We cleared the whole house, and whoever was in there initially was no longer there. After the cops were done, they asked to see the no-caller ID calls in my recent calls. I showed them, and one of the officers told us that even though it says no-caller ID, sometimes they can still request records and trace it from where it came. They said it could take a few days, but they'd get back to us.
Okay.
My uncle stayed over that night, which made me feel safer.
Yeah, you was
We
well.
kept every light on like little kids.
I don't blame
A
him.
few days later, one of the officers called me back surprisingly.
Okay.
The number was traced back to someone I actually knew.
It had to
An old
be.
acquaintance from high school. Not a friend or enemy, but someone who had my number and address and such. I hadn't seen him in years. The cops asked if I wanted to come with them while they questioned him. So my uncle and I went, since he was there on the scene
So, an
with
old
me
classmate.
originally.
Just
When the guy's dad answered the door and saw the police, he instantly called his son down without question, and I could see it in his son's face that he was nervous. The officer and I asked him straight up if he made those calls. He immediately said no. Then he said his phone had been stolen a few days ago. He claimed he lost it at a party and never got it back.
so,
The cop asked why he didn't report it
Mr.
stolen.
Individual.
He just shrugged it off and said he was going to get a new one anyway.
Oh, well.
Winford on 4th. Unreal.
If he's like
Changed
that,
the
I'm gonna get a
whole
new one
game.
anyway. Like, okay, whatever. Then. So he like, I'm gonna get a new one anyway. So what's the point? He like, I don't really care. I'm gonna go get a new one anyway.
Claimed he lost it at a party and never got it back. The cop asked why he didn't report it stolen.
Right.
He just shrugged it off and said he was going to get a new one anyway.
Right. Okay.
The cop told him they'd follow up if needed, and that was basically it. His dad just stood there the whole time watching, but he weirdly didn't say anything. There was no big gotcha moment.
What's your thoughts on that?
I think it was still a frame because somebody stole his phone, but they just randomly pick his number
You.
and go to his house, to his address, and just, you know what I mean?
Mess with him or whatever.
Right.
I mean, it could happen.
It
but
could happen because somebody could be like, let me, this person right here, his address right here, so let me go to his house and call
I
his
think it
phone.
was him. I think it was him.
It probably was
That's
him,
just
'cause-
what I'm thinking.
'cause they
The
say when
person
you
could come
come
back again.
downstairs,
The cops
you
leave. Because the cops leave.
Dang, call,
Try to come
right?
back again.
What y'all think on that one, though? Y'all think he did it, or could have been somebody else?
Stood there the whole time watching, but he weirdly didn't say anything. There was no big gotcha moment or arrest or anything. That night, I couldn't stop thinking about it. The nervous look on his face when he came to the door. Was it a look of guilt, or a natural look anyone would have when being greeted with police on your front doorstep? If it really was a stolen phone, that means someone stole his phone specifically to call me and
Right.
break into my parents' house. And that's without a doubt scarier than if it was him.
Yeah. Dang.
This individual got the
Never
phone.
find
that
out.
person must be had to know him too.
Exactly. Part 3.
It was a weekend like so many before. The usual crew was getting ready to meet up at Cody's house to pregame and go out. This was post-college. We were all 23 to 24 at the time. Cody's house was often the spot to pre- and post-game simply because he had a cool basement where his parents couldn't hear us, but also because his parents were chill. It was just the four of us going out to some local bars tonight. Cody, Randy, Jake, and I. When all four of us were there, we decided...
I kind of feeling scared about this. Y'all get so what if they get chased down by some weird person, a weird individual in a car, and slowly, and they're drunk and they're drunk and dizzy, so it makes it even scarier because the car gets faster. Instead of being non-drunk and at full speed and full good health, I'm gonna have to run fast and maneuver through the city well. Now they're drunk and dizzy and it's late in the evening. Oh gosh.
Decided on who was calling the Uber, and once we did, we were out of there. Fast forward a few hours at a bunch of dive bars and then a dance bar, and eventually Cody and I decided to go home. We were tired. Randy and Jake were staying out later. Cody called the Uber back, I think, and he offered me the pull-out couch in the basement when we got to his place. He came downstairs with me to help me set it up, and while down there, we played a game of Madden. Honestly, I've always sucked at Madden, so he destroyed me, and I didn't want to play again. I was tired and just wanted to sleep the alcohol off before I made the inevitable hangover even worse. Cody went upstairs and shut the door, and I was left alone in the darkness.
Oh, I see what's
The
going on.
only thing that kept that basement from being complete and total blackness were the lights from the cable box clock under the TV, the actual standby light of the TV itself, and a slight green glow from a Heineken mini fridge on the other side of the basement. That mini fridge would also provide some weirdly relaxing white noise that would help me fall asleep.
Really?
So things faded to black as I knocked out like a baby. A drunk baby.
Yeah, so you
Woke up and It
drunk.
was still dark. I didn't know what time it was, but I knew it was still late at night. Or super early, whatever you want to call 3 or 4 a.m.
Early.
My mouth
Weirdo.
was so cotton-mouthed dry, I could actually barely move my mouth.
Damn.
I stupidly didn't think to bring down a bottle or a glass of water before going to sleep.
Look at us. Nobody would ever think that two people
You
like
just
us.
trying to go to sleep. You got no bottle of water or anything. What feels longer is the asthma in my
My
nerves.
mouth was so cotton-mouthed dry, I could actually barely move my mouth.
Damn.
I stupidly didn't think to bring down a bottle or a glass of water before going to sleep.
That's kind of your own darn
After
fault. I
drinking
think
all
my
that
mind.
alcohol, it was no wonder I woke up. I just really didn't want to get up, though. It's a very familiar and relatable conflicting feeling that anyone who's woken up hungover and thirsty has felt.
I never been hungover. I've been thirsty so many times, but never been
I rolled
hungover.
over to get a look at the Heineken
I'm
fridge
20,
to
not
see if
21.
anything was in
That's
there,
straight to your head.
but it was just alcohol.
Head.
And then, for whatever reason, my eyes darted to the other corner of the room. I felt like my eyes were playing tricks on me at first, but I could swear I was looking at a black mass in the corner of the room. A black mass that I didn't remember seeing there ever before. I tried to wait for my eyes to adjust better to the dark, expecting the black mass to be some coat on a coat rack or something. But the longer I stared, the more I realized it was moving. It was a person.
Closer?
The amount of restraint I had to not scream was insane. I didn't think it was Cody just based on the sheer height of the mass alone.
Okay.
Without panicking, I had to figure out how to get out of there. After a tense couple of minutes, I sat up and fake yawned as if I was stretching, pretending I didn't notice that person in the corner.
Good.
I then started fake talking to myself, like muttering complaints about not bringing water down here. Anything to give the appearance that I was oblivious and just going to get water, not run away and alert anyone.
Right. That's
I
smart.
got up and walked closer to the stairs, but also closer to the figure in the corner. And perhaps the most tense moment of my life was when I turned to the right to get to the stairs, and I hoped I wasn't grabbed. When I started going up the stairs, I didn't run or anything. I took it slow and normal to not draw suspicion. But when I was about halfway up, I took a curious glance down the stairs, and that black mass was now at the bottom of the stairs.
Oh,
And I can
boy.
confirm it was a person. I almost tripped as I started to run up the rest of the stairs and slam the basement door shut. I then started running up the stairs to the upper level of the house to Cody's room, where I shook him awake and yelled at him that there's someone in the basement and that he needs to wake up his dad. And during that commotion, I heard a slam from downstairs. And I yelled, "See?" Cody got up, and we went to his parents' room where we woke up his dad, and I told him there's someone in the basement. He got right out of bed without asking questions, and ran down both flights of stairs to the basement, noting that the basement door was wide open. And when I mentioned I shut the basement door, Cody's dad yelled at Cody to call the cops, and he did. We also noticed the back door to the house was now open. So when the three of us were done looking through the basement, we all went to the backyard to search. Then the front yard, and then the neighboring yards, all while Cody was still describing what was going on to the 911 operator.
Right.
I'd say we were searching for 15 minutes before the police finally arrived.
Wow.
And then they did their full search, and formally wrote up a report for the incident. By the end of it, there were some neighbors waking up and coming outside, asking if everything was okay. By that point, I was sobered up, terrified, and wanted to go home. So as soon as the cops left, I went inside to talk with them for a bit, then I said goodbye and called an Uber home, refusing Cody's offer to drive me home.
Dang.
I worried for them a bit that night, but I was not sleeping in that basement after that.
Hell, I don't blame you.
I never did again. We'd still have pre-games and stuff there, but the feeling in that basement changed for a while after that night, where I'd always glance at that corner of the basement and just think back to that night. That black mass.
Was at the bottom.
Right. Ooh.
Yes,
Can you blame
sir.
it though? I wouldn't even go back. I don't think I have to go back to I don't know what you got going on in here.
I hope I didn't grab. Hopefully, if I didn't grab, I can hear him fight off and then knock you down and go.
Crazy stories, though. Boy.
The Home Alone stories?
Home Alone be some different types. Be hearing all kind of cracking and
Knocking.
You know when you be taking a shower or something, you by yourself, and that's when you start hearing everything. Your mind start thinking,
Right.
you hear something walking in the house or something.
The little creaks or cracks. You just hear everything when you're in the house by yourself.
Crazy, man. Hey, y'all let us know y'all thoughts about these
They gonna
down below in
leave,
the
yeah.
comment section, man. What else y'all want to react
And
to?
let us know if y'all ever been home alone and y'all had those experiences too. Let us know.
For sure, man. We catch you on next one.
Catch y'all next time.
All right, see you. They're gonna leave anyway. But I gotta like and subscribe, please, and thank you. And I'll see y'all next time.